Peter Schlumpf, thank you very much for accepting this invitation of participating on this salty chats. Peter was an ex-student of mine in Menorca doing a sailing course, and also we share a couple of more adventures like Atlantic crossing in between. So welcome aboard, Peter. How are you?
Well, very good. Except the corona is giving me some pain now, and besides my knees. But I want to go sailing. So I have this virus. I don't have corona, but I have the virus of sailing. If I'm not out of the sea after 1 or 2 weeks, well, in the winter time it's maybe 2 months or so. But normally I get nervous, and my wife tells me, Go out for a turn and come back when you're normal again.
So the virus of sailing. So tell us, how did you, when and how you start sailing or boating first?
Well, about 5 years ago, we bought a house in Menorca, and then I bought a motorboat. A very, very small one, but that was too small. I couldn't go out of the harbor because the waves and whatever. I was scared to hell. Then I bought another one, and then 2 years later, another one. And it was fun. It's really like a toy for boys. It was fun. It was, like you accelerate with, I don't know, 200 or 300 horsepower. But after a while, after a few weeks, after a couple of months, I said, okay, it's nice. I have seen this. And especially the big difference is really, you can't really talk to each other when you go from A to B. You're there in maybe 15 minutes. Okay, you're a nice beach or whatever, or any other nice place. It takes you only 15 or 20 minutes. But it's so noisy, and then bam, 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 hammering like hell. So then a friend of mine asked me, René, you know him, René?
I know René.
He asked me if I could look for maybe that we could charter a sailing boat with the skipper, of course. And that was actually the initial point. Then I said, okay, let's go. And then I was asking how much is chartering a sailing boat with the skipper. And, you know how much it is, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 euro a week or whatever. And I said, wow, okay. Yeah, he said it's no problem. But anyway, I decided. Then I said, I'm not that young anymore, but I should be able to make this license, the course, and so on. And then I start to investigate, ask some friends around there. Minorca, there are many English people because I don't speak Spanish. Anyway, make it short. Finally, I ended up to make this course, day skipper course. And Ricardo was my coach, my trainer, my teacher. And I remember, there are hundreds of things I won't forget, but going back to the initial course was the first time I was on this boat. I was impressed how big it was, a Bavaria 36, how big the cabin are and the kitchen and whatever. Wow, I didn't know. And then on the other side, there was nearly no wind. But for me, at that time, the waves, maybe 1 or 2 meter or 1.5 meter, was still there, and we were bouncing around. I said, oh my God, that will never be something for my wife. And so, but then after the first day or second day, and so I got used to it. For me, it was anyway no problem, but I was thinking of my wife. And finally, after this 5 days course, yeah, he was happy. And now the old story, Ricardo told me, you're going to buy a boat. Actually, he told me this after 1 day or whatever. I said, forget it. No. I just want, maybe I'm going to charter once a year for my friends, a boat and whatever. But anyway, finished the course. And then I think 10 days later, I saw, because I started to Google, I saw there is a boat show in Barcelona, which is, like a 30 minutes flight from Menorca. And my wife said, okay, let's go. You don't have to charge. You go and buy one. I said, well, okay, let's see. And then I went to this boat show in Barcelona, checked all the boats, and ask for quotes, and that was make it short. I decided to buy a Hanse. It's a 41.5 Hanse 415. And even in that course, I talked to Ricardo. What else are you doing besides doing courses and so on? I said, well, delivery. I said, what do you mean with delivery? That's a completely new world for me. I had no idea that this is a kind of a business or whatever. And Ricardo explained me, mainly some English people, they want to go to Mallorca or Menorca, whatever, sailing, but the boat is in England and they don't want to take the trip. And so he's doing this and so on. I said, okay. Oh, by the way, if I buy a boat someday in Germany, are you interested in bringing this down to Menorca? And yeah, okay, everything went well. I bought the boat. Ricardo agreed to look for the crew. And then we started in April or whatever from Greifswald, very, very northern Germany, northeast Germany. It was, I think, 2,600 nautic miles, 3 weeks, and cold, and damn cold, unbelievable cold. I had 7 layers on at night, maybe 2 more, but once we passed Biscaya, the temperature started to be nice. And from that moment on, I said, okay, now I can see this, but I never go more north than the Biscaya. That's the Biscay.
But I remember that delivery. Yeah. I remember the first couple of days, the average speed was really, really high. And everything went perfect, even with the bridges, with the locks on Kiel Canal, everything went so fast. So it was a very good, I would say, first 2 weeks. We went really, really fast. It was good, but
yeah,
cold.
It was
but
really
cold.
Good. And I made a video and whatever, and as introducing it, I never felt unsafe, or I was never scared. Even we lost the autopilot end of the Biscay. I mean, the first 2 days in the Biscay was like, okay, this is Biscay. Everybody tells me it is very dangerous, and no many people, whatever, survived this, and blah blah blah, and so on. And the first 2 days or 2 nights was really nothing. We didn't have any wind, but then the last day it started to pick up, and the waves getting big, and then we lost the autopilot. We had to stop in La Coruña to repair. That was the first really kind of okay, that can happen. I mean, it's nice to have an autopilot. That's another thing. I never knew that this boat, they have autopilots. That's nice. Anyway, yeah, I mean, the whole delivery was absolutely great. Going down the coast, Portugal, Gibraltar, and then along the Spanish mainland coast, and then crossing, and finally we made it in Menorca, very safe, very good, and exhausted. 3 weeks. I never eat so much food in these 3 weeks. I mean, breakfast, and then at 9 o'clock some chocolate, at 12 o'clock lunch, and 3 o'clock some other whatever, and even eating that much, I lost some weight, which I didn't mind. It's okay. But for me, it was really, I mean, we were just sitting there 3 weeks, but okay, it was very cold and it was interesting. So anyway.
By the end of this trip, I think it was in the end of the trip or sometime close to the end of the trip, I told you as well that one day you're going to feel the call to cross an ocean. And your reply to me was like, never, impossible crossing an ocean. And then a couple of years later.
Right. I mean, for me, it was like, okay, once I go on my own from Menorca to Mallorca, that's going to be my biggest thing. I mean, this is, what is it, 30, 40 nautic miles alone. At that point, I thought, okay, if I can do this, wow, that's more than enough. Then I have my goal. And so, and you're right. I mean, I don't know, a year later, I don't know, somebody told me about this arc and crossing the Atlantic, and I started to think, well, why not? I mean, this is really something I should do. I mean, that's once in a lifetime, another once in a lifetime. Keep doing once in a lifetime all the time. But that was interesting. And then, Ricardo agreed that he's going to be the skipper. And we had with Olmo another crew member, an Italian guy, very nice. And it worked out very good. We were only 3. Compared to other boats next to us, they had 10 or 12 crew in the same size of boat, but we were 3, which of course it's a little bit, at night sleeping is not so much. I mean, every 4 hours you could sleep a little bit, but it was nice. It was absolutely great. We crossed the Atlantic as also like a gourmet boat. We were not the fastest one, but we had always, really everybody of the crew is a good cook, and we had really very good meats and lunch and dinner and whatever. Except the one time Ricardo made the bacalhau. It was so salty like hell. I'm still thirsty eating this, and we were eating. Okay, and. But that was because Ricardo wanted to be very or safe with drinking water, so he soaked that fish probably only 1 time instead of 10 times or whatever. And besides this, we catched a few tuna, and at the end, I mean, we even catched another one, but we said no more tuna.
So actually, I have some picture here. So I would like you to comment those pictures. Do you remember this one?
Yeah, that's that was for the delivery from Greifswald to Germany, I think.
Supermarket.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, that
leaving Greifswald.
Great adventure.
And the Kiel, and this one, remember.
This is something, and one thing I mean, I don't want to go. I don't want to do this again. I mean, because of the cold. It's only because of the cold. But at that time, I mean, I had no idea about really sailing and delivery and whatever. And I remember when we left this canal and along the coast from Holland, from Netherlands, I think we had about 30 or 35 knots wind from the. I mean. Today, if I go out and there are 30 knots, I know what it means. But that time, I was just sitting there and said, "Okay, it's nice." And I don't know why he left the sail. And okay, obviously that's something has to be done. I was absolutely a nobody. I was just sitting there and doing my watch and whatever. Oh yeah, the gasoline. Was that the gasoline? Yeah. Or whatever. Yeah, cold.
This was with Fabian. Fabian last year went to the round the world clipper race.
Right.
Yes.
I saw. Yeah.
Hi to Fabian if he will watch this. Some dolphins. Sails.
Nice. Probably Biscay.
And this was the issue with the autopilot.
Right. That's and the after sale service of Hanse. If I want to say something here now and whatever, is really not good. I mean, I like the boat. I think it's perfect boat. The size, everything, it's very nice and so. But the after sale service was not good.
Could be better.
That was good.
This was in, I believe it in Coruña, right?
Right. Yeah. Right.
With Roger in Camariñas.
That was another experience, very, very interesting.
This is the beautiful Anya.
Yeah.
Arriving to Portugal, a good moment as well. In Oporto.
Right.
With João.
Yeah.
And Roger.
Right.
Zero diesel.
That was when we arrived in Minorca. I mean, you
Yeah,
checked
yeah,
even the glass if there is maybe another 100 to 200 milliliter diesel.
yeah. This is the sunrise. Remember arriving?
Yeah, I mean, lots of.
The first glass of cava, right?
Who is this?
Francisca and
I don't.
you.
Yeah, it's very small. Oh yeah. Now I see it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was at the arrival. Yeah, Minorca. Yeah. Great.
Logbook.
Notebook.
The last picture.
Last picture. Yeah.
And this is
Oh,
a sad story we also
that
shared.
that's really a very sad story. That's oh my God. I mean, horrible. I mean, there
Horrible
was.
story. Some words about this episode.
What?
Some words about some
Yeah, I
comments
mean,
about this episode.
after sailing a little bit in Minorca all the time, as I said, I got the virus of sailing. Then I thought I want to sail a little bit longer, not only 1 day or 2 days, or whatever. And then I asked Ricardo, well, maybe I bring down my boat to Faro for the winter service and everything. I said, yeah, okay, yeah, that's good. So I had two things. I wanted to make three. One, sailing for 1 or 2 weeks, have fun. Then have the maybe lower price of the winter service in Portugal. And third, I wanted to make the what kind of course, yacht master or whatever, something like this.
Awesome.
And there was another friend of mine came with us, and that was the plan was like that I'm learning every day a few hours, and sometime when we are in Faro, I'm gonna make the test with Ricardo. But it didn't turn out this way because Rene, my friend, he got sick from the first day on, and the first 2 or 3 days he wasn't any help for us, so we had to do it all together. So that means I was simply too tired to learn and whatever. But that was also a very nice sailing along the coast, Gibraltar, going around Gibraltar, and then going to Faro. And then I went home, and the other day, whatever they lifted out, they put it in the dry dock. And then 2 days later, Monday afternoon, Monday evening, Ricardo called me, and immediately his voice was kind of strange. I said, "Hey, what's wrong?" And then he said, "Well, Peter, your boat. What is my boat?" And then he explained everything. So they did a very poor job. I mean, not Ricardo, but the wharf did a very, very poor job on secure the boat. There was wind, but I mean, my boat was the only one which had this problem. So obviously, and there are a long story.
Resuming, the boat fell down. The yard, they didn't have insurance.
Right.
Valid. We complained to Doca Pesca, to Polícia Marítima, to Capitania de Olhão, Harbour Master in Olhão. We complained to ASAI. We complained to the Tourism of Portugal. We complained to around 6 different authorities. They give us the reason saying that the Marina Formosa in Olhão, they were guilty from this boat to fell down. But the final result was no one paid. Well, Peter's insurance paid for this job and the boat, the recovering. And Marina Formosa in Olhão, they didn't pay anything, and they still open. So another tip, if you are watching this program as well, is ask insurance before going to the marinas, and especially don't go to Marina Formosa in Olhão because they're not good professionals. But this was a not so good part of that story, and we'll continue with better episodes. So remember this. Vilamora before leaving to Las Palmas.
Okay, yes, Villamor before leaving Las Palmas, and there was my ex-brother-in-law with us. That was a little bit a similar story like with the other friend, René. He got seasick after 1 hour or half an hour. And yeah, it was the one on the left side there, and it was very impressive. And we had, of course, again, the first time we had this autopilot loss, and we had it again, just about half a day, or actually in the end of the night, in front of Las Palmas. The autopilot failed because there was a wave over the boat a little bit and made the electronic wet, and then we had off, and we made an unexpected jive. Well, it's good we had a preventer on it, and it was recorder was like in 10 seconds from sleeping to acting. And well, we managed it very well, and okay. And then we had to do it by hand all the way down to Las Palmas, and there actually it recovered itself when it dried out, and we uploaded the newest firmware. This is another really very, very good experience, and I will never forget again. Whatever, be prepared also to have the manual steering pole or whatever in case of something. At least you should know where it is. I mean, before, from Greifswald to the first down to Menorca, I wouldn't have known where the part is. But in the meantime, with a lot of some special actions, I have changed a lot. I know exactly where this tool is, and whatever to do. Yeah, that's leaving Las Palmas. Autopilot.
Cheating with autopilot. This is one of my
bloody
one of the best images, I guess, because it's very authentic and live and full of colors. When we
by the way,
the food, always a highlight.
Okay, I'm ready.
The flying fishes, always in the morning on deck. Poor fishes. This, I think we took 6 beers for the entire crossing, right, or something like that.
Maximum 6.
We had one halfway, right, after 10 days, and the second one was before the arrival or last night.
Before the arrival, and we had one bottle of white wine during the last dinner on board before arrival.
Yeah,
there was we had Olmo brought this bottle of wine with, and was a great experience. I mean, again, once in a lifetime.
Remember that?
Sure. I remember almost
when we saw land for the first time.
Right.
Land inside. Yeah.
One very impressive thing was I remember when we started in Las Palmas with 240 boats. One day later, we didn't see any boat except once in a while on the chart, or then in the middle of the Atlantic, I think we crossed 1 or 2 boats or whatever. But otherwise, one day, and we all made more or less the same course, more or less. But after one day in the open sea, tuck, you're alone. You're alone. Nobody's around.
This is the arrival to St. Lucia.
St. Lucia, yeah.
Last picture, or one of the last.
So, Peter, the best 3 things during the trip, the crossing.
Oh, you have to give me 3 minutes. The best things.
The 3.
First, that we made it. That's the very best. Second, we had always good food. And, well, we were sailing very good. I mean, whatever we could do. The wind was not the best. The wind direction.
And the worst 3 things.
The wind direction. That's the worst.
3 things. 3.
That we damaged the sail.
Yeah. Wind direction, sail.
Well, that's it. I only have 2 bad ones.
Okay.
And this one, remember?
It was your birthday.
My birthday. You fly to Toledo and you join to the family. And I also thank you for coming so far away to my 40 years old birthday. Thank you.
Well, it was a pleasure. It was very nice. It was very nice. And yeah. Oh, yeah. Shower.
Had a shower. And that's it. So, last, some tips for those ones that are following the same path. So they are starting their progression towards an Atlantic crossing or something like that. Your advices and recommendations.
A few things I would have a better look on it is really kind of, okay, what are you doing if the autopilot fails? I mean, it is nice. It's unbelievable nice. You turn on autopilot and you walk around the boat, and blah, blah, and nothing happens. But you should really be aware and maybe even practice in the course, even in the day skipper course. You're sailing a little bit and then turn off the autopilot. What are you doing then? I mean, that's something really scary. If I would be alone, I would be scared to hell. But of course, with Ricardo and now the delivery with the other 2 guys, they are sailing also thousands and thousands of miles. But for me, it was like, oh, okay. Second is also, that's an experience I went through is in the Caribbean. Later on, after arrival, my wife came and 2 friends, and we were sailing in the Caribbean around 3 weeks. And we had a pretty strong wind one day, so I had Rev 2, and then later on I had Rev 1, and I said, okay, let's pull it up completely. And in that moment, the steering wheel wire broke. And I didn't have Ricardo next to me. I could cry after Ricardo, what are we doing? So I had to do it myself. And that was also kind of scary moment. At that time, I never took the both sails down in such a short time. I think maybe 5 seconds, the head sail and the main sheet was down, which I thought at the moment, yeah, it's good. But then later on, I thought, oh no, actually, why did I do this? Of course, because I was scared of hell and then whatever. And then, the wives and the guests with that big eyes, oh, what are we going to do? We got to sink. And so I could have turned on the autopilot and that's it. And then, at least with my boat, with the Hanse boat, the autopilot and the steering wire, they are completely separate. So if the steering wire breaks, you can turn on the autopilot and you can steer with the autopilot. But at that moment, I was scared to hell. And we managed to go to the coast, and then we repaired and fixed it, and etc. And another thing is, either you have lots of money if you are not able to do your own repairs, your little repairs, bigger repairs, either either you have a lot of money and you ask always somebody to fix, repair, or I'm going to say I have the talent to do some mechanical stuff, and this is no big deal. And that's actually the interesting thing. Kind of every day, almost every day or every week, something happened on the sailing boat. I mean, either there is something breaks off or this doesn't work anymore. Little thing, but for me, this is the nice thing. On a motorboat, you turn on, either the engine starts or not. That's it, more or less. But the sailing boat is a lot of things. A lot of things can happen, and that makes it really, fun and nice and whatever. That's and learning by doing. I mean, in the meantime, I'm sailing around Minorca on my own in 22 hours or Mallorca, and I'm planning. I told just my wife yesterday, as soon we are able to go down to Minorca this year in March, hopefully, or April, I'm gonna go to Mallorca and sail around Mallorca on my own just for 1 week. And so I really like this, but step by step. I mean, that's why I'm very happy the way it went with this delivery in these 3 weeks, 2,600 nautic miles or whatever. Was very interesting. I didn't know anything about it. I knew at least what's going on about, and then practicing. When I had the boat and finally in Minorca, I went out every day, or almost every day, just for a few hours, mooring, get to the mooring, go out, turn around, hoist the sail, drop the sail, did this and this, just on my own, or to get a little bit the feeling of the boat, that's very good.
Peter Schlumpf, thank you very much. Thanks for sharing your thoughts and experience with us. This was the Salty Chats with Peter Schlumpf. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay.